All right, son. Good morning to you. How you doing? So, okay, okay. So in today's class, hang on a second. There we go. So in today's class, right, we're gonna be. Sorry, hang on. Okay. So in this class, what we're gonna be doing, uh, I'm gonna be teaching you Cthulhu. Yeah, but if you recall, I want to say it was last year was when I first started teaching it to you, along with the Toolshed concept system. It's similar, right? But there's some changes, and I'll be sending you the manual in PDF form via messenger or email, but I'm going to need your email. I don't know if I have it, but send it to me after we're done, and I'll make sure that you get it. But you're going to apply what I'm going to teach you here, okay, to all 25 techniques in that manual. And you're going to find, when you train them on like Bob or a sparring partner, stuff like that, or like maybe teaching a student if you want to patch into it under me, and then add it to your arsenal of what you offer, okay? You're going to see with how I'm going to show you it today, with only the first technique, maybe technique number 2, if if the first one doesn't take as long as I'm thinking. It's going to enrich whatever they already know as an enhancement, offensive-based combat art. And if they're just starting out, it'll be an excellent base for them to start out with. First of all, with Cthulhu, what are the targets in the Cthulhu system? Okay, fair enough. The targets in the Cthulhu system are the eyes and face and the round of the head. Okay, for target zone number 1. Target zone number 2 was the throat, clavicle indentations here, okay, and the round of the neck. That's the second zone. Zone 3, groin and groinal area and the ankles. Okay, very specific reason why the ankles. You already pretty much know why that is, but for the sake of introducing the system, I'm going to go into that in somewhat of detail. Okay, why do we use the ankles for target 3 along with the groin? Very simple. Because when we're in a clinch situation, we can knee attack them, and then as the foot is coming down, whichever their lead foot is forward, that's the ankle that we're stomping on to snap. And we hug them into us and pull back the opposite way of our stomp as we do this. That fulcrum effect that it creates, that's what's going to snap their ankle. And you're clenched to them. So when they try to counter in the reflex pain movement, you can keep dishing out damage, whether it's bites, headbutts, claws, gouges, forearm shivs, elbow strikes, hammers, whatever it is. Right? And you'll be able to finish them that much faster. So, okay. First, what are the... Okay, so those are the targets. Eyes, face, round of the head, throat, round of the neck, clavicle notches, groin, ankles. Right. Now, what are the principles or concepts of Cthulhu that get you to where you can destroy those targets? A 3-step process. Blast. What is blast? Blast is where whenever a potential opponent or the enactor of a ambush where they're trying to sneak attack you throws an attack, as you perceive this attack, the instant you do, then your intention becomes, okay, I'm going to explode into that attack, bridging it as I strike a vital spot to cause injury, whether it's their eye socket, soft tissue of their throat, their jaw hinge, their ear canal to clap the ear, maybe try to tear the lobe of the ear off, actually, the side of the neck, the collarbone, whatever it is, the shoulder, whatever it is to cause injury where if you hit it with everything you have, at minimum, it's going to hurt them to move it. At the most, they're going to need to go to the hospital. What you want is for them to go to the hospital. That's what you want. Is you want that much damage. So to try to achieve this as best as possible within a moment's notice, we're going to throw all of our body weight exploding into the target that our instincts first tell us to hit with the closest, hardest body weapon on our body. Whether that is a hammer fist, an elbow, a forearm, a headbutt, a knee, okay, a palm heel, a knife edge using right here, okay. It's gonna more than likely do the damage needed with, if not one, a handful of rapid fire shocking strikes to that target. Even if you gotta change weapons to do so to add to the damage while you're striking, that's perfectly fine. That's acceptable. Right? Even if you've got to get an environmental object to attempt to, okay, say my vape pen. I could use that, okay, bludgeoning, say right into the clavicle notch. That's going to disable you. Hello, puppy. Hi. And, so, those are the concepts of how it's going to attack you. It's going to blast, which is the first step. Second step is maybe I anchor, okay, which is a clutching type of movement with one hand, and I'm attacking violently with the other free hand in my legs and head, okay? Maybe that's needed, maybe it's not. If it is needed, take technique number 1. Shock them, blast them, okay? How we're going to do that is kick them in the groin, and as that foot settles with their body weight on it, hopefully landing on their ankle or really deep into their place where they're taking up space, fingers right into their closest eye socket, whichever one it is. Then we're going to clutch the back of their neck, and we're going to do a claw palm down their nose, clawing the eyeballs as we do this. Then we're going to do what's called a forearm raise. So after the claw, we're going to we're going to flick their nose to break it with our elbow, but we're going to grind our forearm across their face, up and back. And then as that comes up, we're going to form a hammer fist, half circle, and drop our weight down and stomp into it as we hammer fist down right into their eye socket, temple, bridge of their nose area to break anything that hammer fist hits. That's the first Cthulhu flow technique. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. It doesn't necessarily have to be a clinch or an anchor, as we call it, into a blitzing attack. It can be a free striking attack, which means now we need to have a way off of their attack to enter so we can be able to apply it to destroy those targets, okay? The targets in this flow are the eyes, the jaw, bridge of the nose, the temple, eye orbit, bridge of the nose, okay? If you were to trace those lines, okay? So, if we're free striking it, we need an entering method. To do this entering, we're going to borrow from the martial art of Xing Yi Chuan, okay, mind-body boxing. And we're going to go into their 5-element strikes. Metal, water, wood, fire, earth. In this case, we're going to use metal, splitting element, which is like a ripping, tearing, axe chopping motion, okay? how we're going to enter with this, and not to keep it too rudimentary or too basic, but let's just say it's off of a jab, okay? A boxer's jab, boom, okay? Now, how it's gonna try to overcome this to get into that first flow, and let's say we're doing the strikes by the book, eyes, face, temple, okay? Let's say we're doing it by the numbers, 1, 2, 3. How we're gonna use metal into flow 1 to destroy them, quite simply, and this is the key, aggression, aggression, aggression. You need to attack them like your body was physically set on fire. And the only way to put it out is to beat their ass. That's the only way you can put it out. You have to beat them. So, I'll do it slow once and then fast. Slow. Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, going fence up, going left side lead, okay? 1, anchor. 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again. Other side. Okay. Now, you'll notice on my side, when I was going through the splitting flow attack, I added strikes, even a cross kick or two in there, right? Reason why I did that, give them a physical distraction. Make their intention think my intent is to hit the first thing I touched. To give me time for that fraction of a second to take advantage of that gap where I know they're not guarding high in that moment because they thought, oh shit, he's going for my ankle. Bam! And then clutch them and finish the job as quickly as possible. Now, for free striking, bit of a different way that we're going to do this. Still going to use metal, though, to do the entering, bridging, so we can attack. But in this case, okay, we're going to do it with the kind of, you'll see, okay. Say the attacker's coming at me with a punch again, okay, a right jab, okay? Now, watch this. Picture him coming at me, boom, okay? So he's coming at me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did you catch that? I kept switching anchors. Every time I'd hit it, I'd switch anchors. Now, what you didn't see was me violently dropping to my heels through my legs and torquing the opposite way when I have his neck to violently pull him off balance before, in the fraction of a second that I do that, I hit him again at the next target with the next weapon. Boom, boom, boom. So it's almost like, if you've heard the phrase, right, hopping mad, okay, using that energy, but I'm attacking you and beating the shit out of you with it, with every hop that I do. So my body weight is like a wave in a pool, is being transferred into that strike from the ground and being amplified. As I'm horizontally, right, shaking violently for the hands to go back and forth. This goes up and down. This goes back and forth. And it's very violent, very sudden, where you stay perfectly physically and mentally relaxed until the last half second, until you make contact with the first move. Then you explode into everything. Everything as violently and physically as you can. Okay? So let's do that again, slowly though. Guard up, fence, bridge, split, clutch, eye claw, clutch, forearm, clutch, hammer, back. Okay. What do you think, Mr. Godzi, so far? It almost has like a Thai feeling, doesn't it? It almost has like a Thai boxing kind of feeling. Like, yeah, right? A little bit. Well, it's a body mechanic way that I picked up because I sparred a lot of uh you know basic level Thai fighters over the years, even a couple of amateurs, and I will tell you, their body mechanics as far as striking are some of the most precise and brutal in the world. I would even dare say, okay, I'm not going to say they beat Xingyi, but they definitely rival us in that linear, explosive, I'm going to break you in half with these strikes kind of power. They definitely rival us. Some of them are so good that they can beat us in it. I'm going to admit that right now. But, you know, it's one of those arcs that left an impression on me with my friends that used to do it. Because I didn't take it up because I thought it was too sporty, but what I didn't understand is you're so conditioned when you do it, and so used to getting hit and dishing out hits without being phased. A street fight would be no problem for someone that does Muay Thai. No problem at all. 1-on-1 to up to 2 to 3-on-1, I would even dare say, no problem. Because they're not going to feel most of what an average dude dishes out. Because of how they condition it, it's just not going to happen. It's going to be like a fly landing on their skin. Huh? What? Bam! No. But no, seriously. So I kind of left an impression on me where now everything I do is more narrow and squared up. Whether I'm doing Kung Fu or whether I'm doing Kempo, squared up. Whether I'm doing Black Snake or I'm doing Black Spider, squared up. Okay? Whether I'm doing Xingyi or Bagua, squared up. Because I'm not gonna try to waste my energy on these outlandish stances that are gonna serve no purpose other than to get me hurt. So I prefer to do everything from a natural, either like an old man, or what I call the pyramid, or the Cobra Hood, right? Just like back in Black Spider, the Cobra Hood, right? So either here or right here. These are my two go-tos, okay? Because these are going to take up way less room, and you can fire off much faster from here than you can if you're like this, like in Kempo, or even in boxing. I'm sorry, but this is God's truth because I boxed for over 10 years and I'm entitled to this opinion, okay? Yes, this is quick, but if both your hands are forward, you can access either of them at once, way faster than if one's in front and one's in the back. That's the only point I'm making. That's the only point I'm making. A more squared stance with your hands in a pyramid is better. Okay, now, you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, or anything like that so far, Mr. Bazzi? One more time. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like, do I have footwork patterns in my systems that I use? I have a couple of them. Here, let me see if I can adjust my camera so you can see my feet, but you won't fall over. Go as far back as I can. Hang on. Okay. Can you see my feet? Okay. So, from a natural position, okay, some of the footwork that we do in Snake and Stone and Black Spider, okay, is the long step. All that is I'm stepping forward with my toe angled out, so like I'm doing a front cross kick or like a stop kick, and as it hits, and I'm in more of a boxer stance, weight forward, heel up, okay, and on the ball of my back foot, the heel of my front, so I can, move. So that's one of them. Another one is the drilling step, and all that is the same thing, okay, but with that back leg that long steps forward, you're going to throw a clenched knee strike right before you finish the step forward and hit the ground. So it's going to be like this. And I'm still in that boxing stance. Okay? I'll do it again. And there I go. Back in it. Okay? Now, the next one is, I'll call it the wood dragon, or the earth dragon step is what I'll call it. It's the only animal-based named step that we have in my systems. And that goes like this. Down, knee. And what I'm doing, stepping forward in that boxing stance, stomping with the ball of my back foot to augment power forward, and do the same thing again. So there's that. And there's a special way to turn it into a throw or takedown with that footwork, but I'll show you that in person or later on, possibly over video. And then we got the diamond step, okay? This has a knee strike with every other transition. So how this will work is toe out, go into the corner, knee, pivot, kick, step. Sorry, there's even a kick in there too. Kick, step, and you're in the boxing stance. Knee, kick, step, knee, kick, step, knee, kick, step. Okay? So I'll do it again. Hands on my hips so only my legs are isolated. Knee, kick, knee, kick, stance. Knee, kick, stance. Knee, kick, stance. Okay? And of course, with that boxing lunge, more pugilism is coming out. You could knee and short stomp and short chop and kick with that front leg or back leg, but I would recommend clinch work with pugilism when you're in close with that position. So far I've covered what? Four footwork patterns? Okay, so here's the fifth one. This is the wave step, okay? Hands on hips, weight through the heels, behind the balls of the feet, not on them. 50-50 is very important, and I'll explain later why that is. Tailbone tucked in, back vertical, chin tucked in. Eyes forward, breathing from the down skin. And waist and pelvis leading the movement, shoulders and feet following. Here we go. Coming in. Empty step, by the way, because there's no weight on that front leg. Now here we go. Toe out. Wave out. Boom. Boxing stance. Here. Wave out. Boom. Boxing stance. Toe out. Wave out. Boom. Boxing stance. Turning. Toe in. Wave out. Boom. Boxing stance. Toe out. Wave out. Boom. Boxing stance. Toe out. Wave out. Boom. Boxing stance. Okay? So those are the 5 footwork patterns we use when we have to augment full body power and intent behind an attack. Guess what I just taught you? The footwork of the 5 elements of Xing Yi. Yep. That's simple, but taught in a Western boxing modality. You see how much quicker that you picked it up without all that Taoist bullshit weighing it down? Now, what kind of feeling when you do those do you have in your legs and hips? Huh? It feels more like you can move that way a lot more naturally, right? Faster? Yeah. Well, reason why that is, Xing Yi footwork and hand attacks are based off of natural, like, newborn infant gross body mechanics. Okay? Now, Cthulhu is partially Xing Yi based, which is why I bring this up. We use those footworks even in Cthulhu for when we do the flows. Now, another concept is whether you're free striking right or whether you're anchoring and you're attacking, switching up the strikes of the flow. So, for instance, if I wanted, say, to come in with a forearm grind and a downward claw, or a forearm grind and a hammer, or a downward claw and a hammer, so it's like a boom, boom. I could do the free striking principles of that, or the clutched. Okay? Switching, coming through. And really, that's the entire point of my Cthulhu system with the way that it approaches counter-violence with its own brand of violence. I'm looking to break you apart. Starting with the limb you're using to try to hurt me. And from there, I spread like a virus across your body, breaking you apart piece by piece. Now, we even have an edged weapon system and a stick system. But I'm not going to get into those just yet. We have to finish barehanded, of which, son, we only covered the number 1 today. There's 25 total. And with every group of 5, which means there's 4 more to go in the splitting fist phase, the metal element, we'll have 20 more to go after that, with 4 more different entering methods and ways to attack. Then we get into the straight razor, the box cutter, and the short stick, and the tactical pin. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. But yes, this is Cthulhu in a nutshell. This is the lesson with flow number 1. Flow number 1 with the metal element one more time. Guard up, fence up rather. And they're coming in to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. Back. Okay. Yeah. Flow number 1 with the metal element. Downward claw palm to the eyes, bridge to the nose. Breaking the nose, clawing the eyes. Inward forearm grind to the face with an elbow strike going into the sinus cavity or the eye socket, finishing by a half circle from the waist and whipping the hammer fist down across their temple, eye socket, bridge of the nose, or even jaw if it comes down. And that would stop a lot of encounters. Maybe not all. I'm going to admit that. More than likely, not all. But it would stop a lot of them. I know a lot of men that could tolerate that much damage to their skull and face in a split second with over 220 pounds of body weight times like 2 behind each of those strikes, which is about what I am. I'm about 220. So this system will even work for smaller people too, because it's good for in the clinch and grappling range, even on the ground. So that's where we're at so far with the Cthulhu combative system in the Razorback Urban Combative School with the Dark Tesseract combat methods. So, all right. Okay, son, so before we end this, any questions, any comments, any concerns? One more time? Oh, yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, son. Later.